Hello, beautiful people. It's Cinderella. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're back again with another video from the Whatever podcast. Let's check it out.
Let's get into some of our notes here. So, wait, who's Bender? Oh, wait, that's you. Okay. So, you said that you dated a heroin addict on and off for 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the full details there? So, first off, how many times on and off was it?
I couldn't tell you. There were
More than
more than 5 times on and off. Honestly, it might even be more. What details do you want? How did I get there?
So, of the times that it was off, who ended things?
He did.
Every single time?
Every single time.
You never, not once you ended it.
And it wasn't ending it. It was a relapse. So, on and off, it was a period of him just not being there. He just ghosted
how
me.
long were the periods?
It depends. It had depended. I think maybe one of the times was like max 3 months. I would say.
So he would make the relationship off by...
Apollo Shinoda donated $100. Girl in the baby blue is not a 6, definite.
She got up.
As always, only 9 is
I'll tell her
Madison. Great show tonight.
You have anything to say to this, Madison?
Thanks.
All right. So, okay, but you said it was an on-again, off-again relationship.
Yeah,
so
because
there would never be like because you said he would end it, but it wasn't really him overtly ending things. He would just be in a...
Yeah, but during those times, it's like, I'm not gonna state that I'm in a relationship with you when you completely ghosted me and was on this little, like...
Okay, so he would ghost you. Would you, who would reinitiate contact?
He did, every time.
Okay. Every time?
Yeah.
So why did... The first time it was off again, it was because he relapsed?
Yeah.
When you met him, was he using?
No.
Okay, but did he disclose to you that he was using?
That
he had used in the past?
That he was a heroin addict?
Yeah.
Yes.
When you met him? And you said you dated him for 4 years?
On and off, yeah.
Okay, so...
Someone called you at 9.
Yeah, somebody called you 9.
Thank you.
Wait, so okay, you would... How many... So he relapsed on 4 separate occasions?
I honestly couldn't tell you if it was 4 or more. There were...
5? I think maybe it's 5, 6.
Yeah, just about. It would be a period of him relapsing, being gone on this relapse, hitting rock bottom, and then trying to get clean again, and then revisiting the relationship.
How long had he been clean when you met him?
He told me 2 years, I believe.
2 years.
Yeah.
And was that actually true, or was he shifting the numbers on how long he'd been clean?
No, throughout the whole thing, I believe it was true from 2 years.
Okay, and so you were together with him for how long before he relapsed?
It happened shortly after we started dating. Maybe like a month.
A month in?
A month in.
And so for how long was he incommunicado?
So that first initial relapse wasn't...
Oh, it wasn't off.
No,
you stayed.
it didn't.
You like stayed with him, kind of.
It wasn't.
Did you use also?
Did I use?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
So why did you not break up with him after the? I assume heroin use is a deal breaker for most people, right? So why did you stay with him?
Because, well, being that young, I was naive, and...
How young were you?
21.
When you first met him?
Yeah, I was 21. And...
Wait, you said you've been single for 2 months. 2 months or 2 years, excuse me? Oh, sorry, I've got my shit mixed up. Hold on. No, sorry. You're currently in a relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Sorry, I got mixed up, my bad. Okay, why did you stay with him?
I had no idea what I was getting myself into, given obviously heroin addiction is something that, yes, anybody would run the opposite direction, but I think I just saw more in him at the time than just the addiction. So when he initially came to me and told me, like, face on, that he was relapsing in the beginning, like when we were first together, it wasn't something that was like sneakily done around, and I just got to learn how. It wasn't something that was super sneakily done. I just got to learn how dark it got. I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
You thought you could help him.
Yeah, and it was a wild ride.
By the end of your relationship, did he get over that, or was he continuing to relapse?
By the end,
so like
towards
basically
the end, the last reason when he reached out the last time, the reason was that he relapsed. And then he reached out to me, and he was getting clean again, and I went to go see him, and then there was just some other stuff that happened, and then that's when it ended for good.
Hold on. So she thought she was gonna fix him by staying with him, and she didn't think or see it as an unhealthy place or unhealthy situation. Well, yeah, she was young, but I mean, lots of time people or some women think they can be in a toxic relationship or be in an unhealthy relationship or in a relationship with somebody who is using and think they can change the person or they can fix the person. It's the person's job. The person should be the one to take that decision to change. It is not your job to fix somebody who is not going to change, because this is a repeated pattern, repeated series based on what she is sharing here or she has stated here. I'm wondering why she allowed herself to be in this situation or be in this, because it's obvious or pretty obvious that he didn't want to change or he didn't want to fix nothing, and he was enjoying it because he was comfortable at that time.
That's when it ended for good.
How old was he?
He's 29 now.
Well, no. So when you met him, you were...
He was 24.
And you were how?
21.
21, 24. Okay.
Yeah.
Was there anything like insane that he did to you guys in the relationship? Because I don't know, you said when he was using, you weren't in the relationship with him, or that was when it was off?
There were times that we were together when he was using during like his relapse. There were just times that initially it got so bad where he would just like go on his tangent. He would pick that path. So
he didn't
but
do
yes,
anything
there was lots of crazy things that I experienced during that time.
Did you, prior to the first off, did you experience any of those crazy things?
No, not necessarily. It was just a build-up.
Well, I would
of
argue
learning.
finding out your boyfriend doing heroin, that's probably a pretty big thing. But so why would you keep getting back with him?
Because I saw more in him than just addiction. Addiction is not like, it's something that I knew that it had nothing to do with me. So I did want to just be there to support him. And I felt like I had a better understanding of addiction than most people, where it's like people most of the time believe that an addict is always just going to be an addict and like just pick, the drugs. But
he kind of did.
Yeah,
but he kind of did.
Yes. Yeah, he did ultimately.
You said he relapsed 5 times plus?
Yeah, And
did your parents know about this relationship?
My mom does, yeah. Or my mom did after the fact. I didn't share this.
How early did your parents know that this guy was a heroin addict?
It was till after that I shared it with my mom.
Till after the relationship was done?
Yeah.
So you kept that hidden from your family?
Yes. My mom knew to an extent that there was something going on, but she didn't pry about it.
They didn't, for 4 years this was going on and off, where this guy was taking heroin and he never told your folks at all?
No.
Wow, okay.
It's something during the time, it was something that I, at the time, and I come to realize this later, that I was not telling my parents to protect his image, basically, to protect, like, yeah, exactly, his image.
His image in their eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, didn't that also protect your image, though?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
So if I'm getting this correctly, she thought she could understand him better since he's an addict. None of it is making sense, and then trying to protect his image in front of her family. And she wasn't even worried or concerned about herself or whatever, or the danger or whatever situation it is. Because what if something had happened or something bad happened? This, she would have kept all of this a secret. This is a problem. In fact, yeah, lots of people don't even know or don't realize that they are in an unhealthy situation until they are out of it. But there are some people that will see the unhealthiness and see the very red flag that is even blinking double red, and they will just sit there because it is comfortable. None of this is okay, all because they think they can fix the person. You can't fix somebody who doesn't want to be fixed, and you can't fix somebody who doesn't want to change, or change somebody who doesn't want to change. It has to be a personal decision or an individual decision.
I was
And-
dealing with so much at the time that I didn't want to deal with deal with that, having to bring that stress to my family as well.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but you had hoped and believed him that he would not be a heroin addict anymore and he would give that up to be with you.
No, it wasn't about being with me. But
Just in general, you were hoping he would recover and not relapse.
Eventually. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you
That was the end goal.
didn't necessarily feel the need to tell that because you were hoping it would be something of the past.
Not necessarily, no. It was just
Okay.
something I didn't want to stress my parents about.
Okay.
Do you still care about this guy?
As far as I hope he's doing well, but I don't have any contact with him, and what he's doing right now is what he's doing. I've tried to be there for him during the time that we were together, but I can't say that. I mean, yes, in a sense, because I do care if he's doing okay, but again, I'm not going to reach out to check on him or anything. I have no idea where he is.
So wait, did you when it was off, would you be dating other men, or were you just
There was a couple of times, maybe 2 times that
other guys
we were
in the
off.
picture?
Yeah, that I was, and I made that clear when he ended up coming back. There was a couple times that I tried going on a couple dates. There was one time when we were split for about 5 months. I was dating somebody else, but that just didn't end up working out prior to.
Well, did it not work out because you were hoping that the heroin man would come back into the picture?
No, it ended prior to him even coming back, but we weren't compatible. It just ended.
Do you
because it
think
didn't work
it's
out.
abnormal to continuously date someone who's addicted to heroin?
No.
Wait, that's
Well, I think if you're in a relationship and you are truly devoted to the person and you want to pursue something with them and it's very meaningful to you, you're naturally going to want to help them recover.
But
and
she
take
was
care of
she
them.
was only dating him for a month, right? You said you found out a month into the relationship
that he relapsed.
Or no, it was a month into you knew earlier on in the relationship that he had issues with drug use, but then a month in he relapsed.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of women fall into the trap of I can fix things.
I think a month in that's your exit strategy. A month in.
It was, and yes, I had an exit. He tried to give me an exit plan when he told me that he was relapsing and it was getting bad. He tried to give me an out, and yeah, I think I stayed to try to not fix him, but give him the support that I thought he needed, and it did. I believe
It kind of sounds like fixing him. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to put it that way, yeah. But I feel, and from what I saw, the support in the beginning did, and he did end up getting clean. He went to rehab and got clean, and then.
Yeah, but this guy locked up 4 years of your life dating him.
Yep.
It's a long time.
Yep.
I mean,
was he on other drugs, by the way?
When you're a heroin addict, you do everything. There's no.
So he was doing everything and heroin.
I mean, when that's your addiction is that specific drug, but you're around everything else. So
like, what else was this guy doing? Was he doing like crystal meth? Right? Was he
that's
he was
every other drug. If you consider heroin being like the top of the worst drugs, everything else it's in the same. You're around the same thing when you're using, like you're on the streets.
So when he'd have a heroin relapse, would he smoke crystal meth and this kind of thing?
No,
even when
it wasn't like
on
he
heroin?
was using that as well. But I knew that like during his rampages, the other addicts he was around, that was like a casual thing to be doing.
Sounds to me like she was really, really cool with it, and she wanted to fix him so badly that she willingly stayed with him for 4 years. Do you know what 4 years is? Trying to get an addict to clean up. And she was comfortable, or it was cool, or is it like because she wanted to sound like the cool girlfriend, not the nagging type or something? It's not making sense because it sounded like she really wanted to fix him so bad, because staying with somebody like that you know for 4 years, boyfriend, like even the first entering the relationship, and then you saw this, that this is the lifestyle he's into. It was already reading or clicking red flag. I don't know what anybody's gonna say, but obviously he had some work to do for himself. But she really wanted to fix him so bad. She thought it was her job to fix him.
Well, I don't know if this is a hot take, but my advice to both men and women, this isn't a gender thing, junkie is not very high on the list of people you should date.
No, it's not.
Agreed.
I would not recommend it.
Is that a hot take? I don't know. Maybe a red flag, maybe a deal breaker, junkie, relapsing. You know what I mean?
I will say people can definitely like recover and clean up their lives, but during that time, don't think you can save them, because you can't.
Yeah.
Well, let me take it a step further.
They have to save themselves.
I would argue, at least, look, here's my perspective on the male side of things. If she has a history of drug use, you should preclude her from consideration when it comes to dating. Just point blank.
Yeah, for me personally, drugs are a deal breaker.
There's plenty of people that are not drug addicted or don't have a history of drug addiction. Plenty of fish in the sea. Again,
What about stuff like weed, Brian? You don't care about that, do you?
I'm not. Obviously, it's not as hard of a drug as heroin or these other hard drugs, but I actually think that significant marijuana usage is actually a character defect. And I personally, I don't smoke weed. If she did it minimally, it's okay. But if it's significant, if she uses it significantly, I think that that's a red flag.
I think there's also a difference between someone who occasionally smokes and a stoner.
Well, I'd prefer someone who just doesn't.
I agree with you on this. I'm completely opposed to drugs.
If she smokes occasionally, I don't think that's not going to be a deal breaker for me, but I would prefer somebody who doesn't smoke. And I mean, similarly, when it comes to drinking, I don't really drink, so I'd prefer someone who doesn't drink.
Yeah.
So, why, Andrew? Are you a pothead?
No, I do not partake.
Okay.
He's been lighting up this whole time.
He's a chain smoker.
Yeah. Your vice is tobacco.
Yeah.
Nicotine.
Yep, nicotine.
Nicotine. Okay. Damn, though, that's heavy. That is heavy. You're a champ.
Yeah.
Because that's.
Well, I wanted to follow up with a couple of questions, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
On this. So, was this guy engaging also in criminal activity, heavy criminal activity during this time?
Yeah, he had gotten arrested a couple of times.
Did you get involved in any of that criminal activity as well with him?
No.
Like, did he try to drag you into it?
No. I think that was one of the things that probably not necessarily kept me around for so long, but his separation from, I don't know how to put this. seeing his struggle on trying to separate his addiction from his normal life, like just seeing someone who had that struggle trying to get clean and couldn't, and fell into like the black hole of addiction, was something that he kept very separate from, or tried to keep very separate from our relationship. So no, he didn't like try to get me involved in any of that.
Did you ever inadvertently end up having to pay for his habit?
There were times that I later found out that it was, yes, kind of, that unknowingly, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious. 4 years is a long time to be with a heroin addict, right?
Yeah, very long time.
Just, if you're okay with answering, what would he say when you were like trying to help him? What was his answer of like?
I mean, as far as trying to help him, it wasn't really. I don't know how to answer that, because there's no direct, like, you know, you have so much more to offer. There's not like those direct kind of answers for somebody. It's just,
I guess, what excuses would he give? Or would he
every
say?
I think
an
addicts
excuse possible,
know
like-
in a way that there's going to be nothing that is going to change the way they feel, because when you are addicted to a drug, it's not you, it's the drug taking over your body. It is the drug making decisions for you in your life, and it's really hard to go back from that. So they just like know that they're doomed, kind of, and it's hard for them to get better because they know that, and they
you have to hit.
they don't know how to help themselves because it's right in front of them.
Yeah, and then in their mind, the only thing that helps them is the drug, and that's why it's
Exactly.
a constant loop.
So she was really, really cool with it. It sounds like she liked the bad guy. So my question is this really what modern women mean when they say they like the bad guy? I'm just asking for a friend. Also, I will know the calibers or the type of guy they really do like, because it sounded like she really wants to be so supportive. She sounded like she really wanted to be his savior so bad. So she was finding ways or trying to understand his situation, when the person you're trying to understand or having mercy for or pity for does not even feel sorry for themselves. It's just sad.
Yeah.
So what was like the final straw for you of like the last of him saying, I can get better, I could do this? What was the last?
There wasn't, if I'm being completely honest. I think that I'd never, no matter how many times, like, and that's where when I was saying in the beginning, I think a lot of people see addiction and see like a lost cause, and that's where addicts have such a hard time gaining that support, because they lose that trust from the support they got originally so many times. And that situation, and like in that case, our situation got so detrimental where I couldn't be his support anymore. I started becoming like part of the problem, because I went like AWOL. Like anytime something would happen, I just went like completely, it was really toxic. So there wasn't really a time. It honestly just ended on terms where it wasn't going to, it was so toxic towards the end that that's what was the defining factor, that it wasn't going to work. I don't think I ever lost faith in the fact that he could get clean. So,
I'm sorry that happened.
thank you. It's okay.
Yeah, not a lot of people can do that for other people. Not necessarily like be their savior or whatever, but as you say, addicts, they fuck up a lot. You know, they lose a lot of the support that they have, and because of that, I think it makes things a lot worse, a lot faster, because when and if they do come to their senses and an off day, and they're like, all right, maybe I'm messing up, I need help, no one's really there to help them.
An addict won't get ready. They won't get help unless they're ready. So anybody can try to do anything for them, give them all the resources, but it's not going to happen until they're ready. And it's hard to, be the person that's going to be there when they aren't ready.
And you can have like the sympathy for them. Like you said, I feel like everyone also looks at addicts like a lost cause, but at the same time, you do have to take into account that they fully did that themselves, and they are driving those people out of their life that want to help them and want to support them, and they truly just don't want to get better until
Yeah.
they're ready, like you said.
Would you go through or put yourself through that again?
Am I allowed to cuss?
You better say fuck no. Yeah, you better say fuck no.
Ultimately,
No,
my last
I would
question on
never
this,
recommend
as
that.
I'm sure Brian wants to move the convo on, but would you say in retrospect that you were as much of an enabler of the behavior as you were somebody ultimately who was assisting and putting a stop to it?
No, I don't think so. I think as I learned with his addiction, and even just his environment, you obviously dating an addict, you learn a lot about addiction, and I don't think that, I mean, maybe at one point because I was so naive about what was happening that I couldn't differentiate what was like going on. If I couldn't tell if, at sometimes if he was lying to me, or I couldn't tell that he was relapsing at first. So in those cases, yes, but I think in the sense of trying, like the support that I tried to give him or how I thought I was helping him and I was enabling instead, I don't think I was.
But you're talking about years, 4 years and many relapses.
Oh,
At what point does there become a distinction between enabling behavior and helping behavior?
Do you mean like as in accepting him back every time he relapsed? As like referring to that as enabling?
Yeah. Is it enabling?
I don't know how I would answer that because every time he would come back, it wasn't while he was it wasn't at a time that he was relapsing. Every time he would come back, it was already when he was ready to get clean. So I'm not sure if that would be considered enabling his addiction. I mean, I would understand because I was always there. You know, he always had somebody there to come back to, but I don't think so. I don't think I could say that.
I wonder if there's any data when it comes to dating. There probably isn't. Who's more likely to date drug addict?
Well,
Women.
I think
I would
in
say
general,
women.
men use drugs more than women do. As like,
Do they?
No.
I don't know the statistics.
Women just use more legal drugs.
yeah, that's what I was referring to when it comes to illegal drugs, especially like in dealings and stuff. It's a very dangerous atmosphere in general. So you find more men doing that than women anyway. And the women who do it, it's because they have a boyfriend, a brother, a family member, or a best friend who's into that, who gets the woman into it generally.
So men are
Just-
to blame. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, also it's just like women
men
are
are the ones
attracted to
dealing
bad
it
boys.
too.
Women are attracted to bad boys. And I mean, it sounded like you said he was also involved in some, I might have stepped away, some criminal activity or something. So, yeah, women just seem to be attracted to what I view as character defects and flaws in men.
Not all women.
Not all women, but for example, hybristophilia. I don't know if we even brought that up when you were on the show last, and I've mentioned it quite frequently in the. Well, a lot of people are tuning out for this this particular conversation, but
Sorry.
no, it's okay. So hybristophilia, women are attracted to men who are they're attracted to criminality, and this is almost exclusively something that you see in women as compared to men. It's very rare in men, but much more common in women. I think it's not common in women in general, but it's more.
That, but that is true.
Well, I think it has to do capacity for violence. So someone who's a criminal may very well have more capacity for violence, or to do things that could, in some like dire situation, if they're more drawn to criminality, they could conceivably better provide for children if they're willing to steal or cheat or lie. Maybe that's a stretch, but
I don't agree with that at all. Like
it makes sense in my head.
I know women. I've known women in my life who have dated criminals, and I've never understood the appeal, or like
Yeah, that's you,
specifically.
though.
Yeah, that's me.
Anyways, let's get these chats out because there's quite a few.
First of all, you can't change somebody that don't want to change, and it is not your job. Secondly, it sounds like many modern women are attracted to the bad guy, and maybe it sounds like this is the version or the kind of guys they like when they say or this exact type of guys they like when they say they like bad guys because the is tough being a criminal and all of that, or you name it, whatever activity they have going on, this is what they really like. And they also want to play the savior part. That's their guise of trying to be supportive to their boyfriend or to their man. It's not helping. It is, once again, I'm just going to say this as a constant reminder, it is not your job to change somebody that don't want to change or fix an addict. He will, or the addict will, fix themselves when they are ready and they are willing to. And once again, many ladies should stop, or some of these modern women should stop putting themselves in a toxic relationship, in an unhealthy relationship, and yet like try to play the victim or blame it on somebody. Majority of the time, some of them know exactly what they are doing, but they just need somebody to tell them, or put the mirror forward for them to look themselves in the mirror to see what they've done to themselves or what they're doing to themselves. But I would really love your thoughts in the comments down below. You can share the useful information you think might be really helpful. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and all of the stuff. And until next time, see you in the next video.